actively managed funds, passively managed funds. What's the difference and which one is better? For those of you who are new here, my name is Trey and welcome back to Let's Talk Finances, where on this channel, we help you get out of debt, stay out of debt, reach financial independence so that you can ultimately begin building wealth. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, go ahead and subscribe to this channel as it helps this channel to grow so that we can continue making videos just like this. An actively managed fund would be more so for those who are speculative traders or single stock traders. It's more of a hands-on approach and it requires a portfolio manager. It requires an individual who's supposed to be the analyst or the specialist who has a crystal ball that can look into it and tell you which funds you should or shouldn't be investing in to get the largest return. It just so happens that a large portion of these people apparently have a really freaking awesome crystal ball. They've reaped tons and tons and tons of gains for a lot of actively managed funds. Passive managed funds, they're the complete opposite. Passively managed fund does not require a portfolio manager, and it's more so for those individuals who aren't really looking for those short-term huge gains, but more so long-term investors that's looking to build wealth over long periods of time, specifically for retirement. If you don't remember anything else when it comes to actively managed funds and passively managed funds, just remember these things. Actively managed funds requires a portfolio manager, someone that you have to pay in order to manage your portfolio for you, who oftentimes will give you tips and advice on which funds you should or shouldn't be investing in. To whereas a passively managed fund does not require anyone to manage that fund for you. You're more so going to be your own manager, and also you're not paying anyone to manage your fund for you. And one other thing I want to notate, guys, if you haven't noticed, I'm not really moving this shoulder too much. I just had surgery or shoulder surgery, so I got to kind of keep it still. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I really don't feel too good and I feel like I have a fever. I still needed to do this video because you guys need to make that money still, right? So I'm here for you guys. But before we continue, guys, I highly encourage you to join my Let's Talk Fire Facebook group. In that group, we have nearly 5,000 members who are very active on the page and who discuss everything from getting out of debt to their favorite financial books to investing, you name it. So be a part of a community that is growing every day. What are some commonalities between actively managed funds and passively managed funds? I know you guys want to get into what the differences are, which one is better. These few commonalities you really need to understand to have more of a respect for both of them, especially in your decision-making process. Both active as well as passively managed funds are investment vehicles that will help you build your portfolio. One thing that I always tell people that you should be doing is investing. And the reason for that is your money is slowly dwindling away as long as you just have it sitting in your banking account or a savings account that's drawing 0.02% APY. What you need to be doing is investing in the stock market. So the decision would be, should I do actively managed or passively managed? Well, if you stay tuned until the end of the video, I'm going to be letting you know what my choice is, why, and which one I think is better for you. The second commonality is, yes, they're both forms of investing, but they both invest in the stock market. For those of you individuals who aren't familiar with investing, I'm pretty sure you've often heard of stock market. Stock market, stock market, stock market. These are the two prime examples. In both of these instances, you will be investing in the stock market. The only difference is with actively managed, you'll be having a portfolio manager, and a passively managed, no portfolio manager. Before we get into the pros and the cons of each, put down in the comments below what your preferences are, whether actively managed funds are your favorite or passively managed funds. Pro number one for actively managed funds: money. You can make all kinds of money. All kinds, man. That's my Hodge twins reference. Listen, for actively managed funds, it's pretty much one thing that is very well known for, and that is huge gains. I have at least 6 guys that I know that made over $500,000 within 1 calendar year, which is ridiculous. Most people, if not all people, are getting into investing because they want to make that sweet moolah. And if that's the case, then this is something that would probably interest you. But before you turn this video off and say, oh, I want to make $500,000, I'm about to go invest in an actively managed fund, you want to stay tuned until the end of the video. Pro number 2, flexibility. You're not investing in one specific index to match a benchmark. You can actually shop around. You can invest in Tesla. You can invest in Apple. You can invest in Microsoft or whatever the case may be. You have the freedom to move around and invest in all of these different companies, to whereas the latter, you may not have as much freedom and flexibility to do so. So for those of you who need that freedom and flexibility, then this might be a really good choice for you. As we continue into these pros, for those of you who are new to investing and are curious as to how to start, in this video, I actually went over that. Investing in index funds for beginners. Now, yes, an index fund generally would be a passively managed fund. However, there are actively managed index funds as well. So check that video out after this one. Now, pro number 3, the ability to hedge. It basically means investors can hedge an investment by making a trade into another investment. And this generally means there's a reduction in risk. That is another pro, that if you are in the process of maybe feeling as though this stock is a little bit too risky for you, you can just hedge it. But now let's go into the cons for active management. And the biggest one, it's very expensive. Now today, the average expense ratio or commission for an actively managed fund ranges somewhere between 1.7 to 2%, which is ridiculous, all right? The second con would be risk. So obviously, with more money comes more risk. And one thing that I like to highlight when we're talking about investing is minimizing your amount of risk while maximizing your return on investment. In this event, in order to maximize that return on investment, you're going to have to assume quite a substantial amount of risk, more so than most people would like to assume. This is why this is also on the list for cons. The third thing that has to be taken into consideration as a con, short-term capital gains taxes. There's a good friend of mine who last year made almost $600,000, but did not hold those funds for longer than 1 year. So what did that mean? He got taxed at the short-term capital gains bracket of a person who made $600,000, and he paid out of the yin-yang. I mean, upwards past maybe 25% taxes on those $600,000. And that's what a lot of people don't take into consideration. All you see is, oh man, I might be able to make 500,000, $500,000. Well, yeah, you can make $500,000, but you're also gonna be paying a huge bill. Short-term capital gains taxes or tax implications would be another con for actively managed funds. As we get ready to jump in, the pros and the cons for passively managed funds. If you're an individual who is curious as to what an index fund even is and you have no idea, well, in this video, I actually went over that. What is an index fund, and also which index funds you should be considering today in 2021. So check that video out after this one. Pro number 1 for passively managed fund, the expense ratio. The expense ratio is ridiculously low. Today, the average for an expense ratio for Vanguard is 0.05%, which is why John Bogle created the index fund, because he wanted more funds to go towards the investor and or the shareholder, as opposed to someone who's managing the account or the broker. Pro number 2, transparency. With a passively managed fund, you know exactly which funds you are investing in. So let's say, for instance, you are investing in a total stock market index fund. Well, you can look up the holdings for that fund and tell exactly what the over 3,600 companies are that you're investing in. So transparency is always key when you're getting into investing, so you have an exact idea of what you're investing in. The third pro for passively managed funds are long-term investing, which minimizes your amount of risk. With index funds and or passively managed accounts, this is something that you can do because it's intended for the individual who wants to buy and hold for the long term. One of the cons of a passively managed fund are that you are very limited. You have a specific amount of funds that you can invest in to track a specific benchmark, to whereas with actively managed funds, you can do single stock investing all the way through and through. So let's say there's 3,000 companies, You can invest in each one of those companies individually if you wanted. To whereas with a passively managed fund, you have to choose a specific fund that tracks a specific benchmark, let's say like the S&P 500, and you're limited to which ones you can invest in. Does that mean it's bad? No, it doesn't. It just means you're a little bit more limited in terms of your choices. The third con would be you cannot do hedging with passively managed funds. You can do some buying and selling, but for the most part, these passively managed funds are known to be buy and hold long-term investments. So hedging isn't something that comes synonymous with passively managed funds. Allow me to give you guys an additional example between actively managed funds and passively managed funds. Tom invests in a passively managed fund. He invests in a fund that tracks the S&P 500 to whereas his expense ratio is 0.04%. Tom can wake up in the morning, as a matter of fact every morning, and know that when he turns on the news and the news says, oh, the S&P 500 has gone up by 4%, he can bank that his investment has gone up by 4%. On the contrary, he turns on that news and it says S&P 500 has gone down by 4%. He can bet that his investments have gone down by 4%. Why? Because with any type of investing, you're always going to assume some type of risk. So Tom in this case understands that there are going to be some very minimal variations between his investments and his returns. He's willing to accept this because he's an investor and he wants to make that sweet moolah. So he goes with it with a 0.04 expense ratio, paying close to nothing. On the contrary, let's say you have Sarah, who decides to put her money into an actively managed fund. Sarah is paying 1.35% for a commission. Sarah buys and sells all kinds of stocks. Energy, health, banking stocks, real estate, you name it. She's invested in all of them. Her fund managers have this big... almost cussed. Her fund managers have this huge crystal ball that tells her, hey, these are the funds you should be investing in. These are the ones that you sit in. So she takes the advice of her financial consultant. Sarah knows that she's paying double, if not more, of the expense ratio than Tom is, but she's okay with that. So when Sarah wakes up and turns on the news and hears that the S&P 500 went up by 7%, it doesn't impact her because she has no idea how that impacted her particular investments. If her investments went down, no idea what that means because she does not know how to track that with her particular investments. But she holds on to these funds because she believes in the dream of beating the stock market. To whereas Tom isn't trying to beat the stock market, he's only trying to mirror it. He's trying to match the performance of the stock market. These are the differences between the two. Hopefully that made sense to you. After reviewing these two funds, I said that if you stay tuned until the end of the video, I would let you know which one is my personal preference and which one I think would probably work better for you. For me, my personal preference, passively managed funds. And the biggest reason for that is the expense ratio. I refuse to pay a 1.5% commission to anyone to manage a fund when I can do it myself. I don't think that anyone can do a better job in research than I can for my own portfolio. The great Warren Buffett said to invest in passively managed funds that track the S&P 500. So why would I not do that? If you're willing to assume the risk of making high gains, but very possibly losing out as well, actively managed funds may be for you. In all reality, you can make a ton of money with it, but you have to be willing to assume the risk as well. If you're not willing to assume that risk, you want to be a little bit more cautious with your investing, knowing that you probably won't get that huge payday, but along the course of time, you will, then passively managed funds will be the right choice for you. If you found any benefit to this video, subscribe to this channel. And in addition, I want to thank all of the men and women who have served and who are currently serving this country. I appreciate you, and so do we all. Till the next video, guys. Let's talk finances then.